May I take your attention? Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gallery Petronas. For your information, in conjunction with Petronas 45th anniversary and the Independence and Malaysia Day, Gallery Petronas is proud to organize an exhibition entitled Bersama Merentas Zaman, Melakar Identiti Melalui Bakat dan Semangat. The exhibition is an integrated element in the 45-day-long celebration to commemorate an important milestone in the journey of the national oil and gas multinational. Our program will start on Talk of Living Ancestries, Fusing Identities. The talk will give insights on fashion evolution and also a different perspective of art. Before we begin, allow me to introduce the speaker for today, Faisal Hamid. Faisal Hamid has a Master of Art in Environmental Arts from Syracuse University, New York, and a Diploma of Art and Design from UITM. He is currently a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Art and Design, UITM. He has expertise not only fashion design but also image consulting and fashion writing. He has also appeared on several mass media mediums such as newspaper, giving his take on fashion-related issue. Now, to the panelists and speaker, the floor is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Selamat tengah hari. Okay, first of all, saya nak ucapkan terima kasih kepada pihak Gallery Petronas yang sudi untuk menjemput kami untuk for this sharing session. Ya, untuk sebenarnya kita just want to create a conversation on fashion and identity dan sebagainya lah. And then thank you so much Gallery Petronas kerana beri platform kepada kami. Seperti biasa kita akan buat dalam in English, in Malay, okay, supaya dia lebih casual. Terlebih dahulu, saya seperti biasa kadang-kadang muncul dalam program seperti ini, untuk program TV dan sebagainya. Tapi tiap kali saya nak menghadiri program macam ni, saya mesti nervous juga. Tahu, dia ramai orang ke sikit ke dan sebagainya, saya mesti nervous, I don't know why. Tapi saya rasa kebaikannya itu ialah sebab kita still ada that drive, that passion kan, to share our aspiration, vision, experience, to impart our knowledge dan sebagainya. So bila saya tengok crowd ni, cool juga. Okay, boleh ni, boleh. Okay, sebelum saya meneruskan lagi program ni, contohnya this conversation, saya nak perkenalkan sebelum saya let them perkenalkan diri mereka masing-masing. Di sebelah saya adalah Puan Zubaidah Sual. Ini adalah merupakan ikon busana Melayu kalau siapa yang tak tahu. Dia selama 4 dekad banyak menulis buku, menyampaikan seminar dan sebagainya Puan all over the world. And then di sebelah sana pula adalah Puan boleh, I'm sorry, Mr. Kelvin tu, my good friend. Kita selalu macam kelakar-kelakar sikit suruh tersebut. Sorry Kelvin 25 tahun dalam industri ni. I think graduated from RMIT, right? Okay, nanti kejap lagi dia akan ceritakan pengalaman dia lah. Okay, again, bila kita cakap pasal fashion kan, fashion sebenarnya dia tu gaya hidup, betul tak? Gaya hidup, dia merangkumi segala aspek kehidupan kita. Dia bukan hanya zahirnya pakaian saja. Dia tarian yang kita tarikan, kereta yang kita pandu, handphone yang kita pakai, gaya potongan rambut kita dan segala aspek lain itu adalah fashion. Dia mempengaruhi kehidupan kita. Dan seperti kita tahu, fashion tidak statik, dia always bertukar dan bertukar. Kadang-kadang interpretasi yang dulu dikembalikan dan sebagainya, dia always berpusing. Dia mengikut aliran zaman, apa yang berlaku pada masa itu dan sebagainya. I think that's the beauty of fashion. Tapi yang paling penting sebenarnya fashion itu adalah identity diri kita ke, sesebuah negara ke, ethnicity dan sebagainya. Fashion itu juga adalah merupakan medium komunikasi yang paling jelas. Dengan melihat gaya seseorang itu berpakaian, kita boleh mengandaikan orientasi politik dia, ethnicity dia, gaya hidup dia bagaimana dan sebagainya, betul tak? Kadang bila orang masuk kita judge kan, kita dah tengok dia tak sebut apa-apa pun kita cakap okay, macam ni, kita berprasangka dan sebagainya. Kadang ada baik dan tidak. So kadang terpulang kepada interpretasi masing-masing. Tapi yang saya faham melalui pengalaman saya, fashion itu adalah merupakan luahan rasa si pemakainya, itu adalah merupakan ekspresi diri kita. Betul tak? Ekspresi diri kita. Sekarang bukan sebenarnya orang tidak tertarik melihat apa jenama yang kita pakai, tetapi dia mahu lihat what is our take on the current issues. Let's say like you're wearing something, maybe it's like a statement, not even a statement, right? Like you being like who you are, right? You being you. I think itu yang penting, because you got to be authentic, you got to be you. I think pada saya, Kelvin dan Puan Zubaidah, kadang-kadang saya dah mengajar lebih pada 25 tahun kadang-kadang, dan melihat industri ini berkembang, turun naik. Tapi sekarang yang saya paling risau adalah, adakah fashion industry di Malaysia kehilangan identitinya kerana terlalu mahu melihat, terlalu how to say it, mahu be in trend, terlalu mahu, you know, you faham saya kan, terlalu macam mengikut trend apa yang terkini dekat luar. You want to be hip, you want to be cool, sampai hingga hilang identitinya. Sampai kalau kita tengok kan designer like let's say Japanese like Yohji Yamamoto, Issey Miyake dan sebagainya, mereka ni avant-garde designers, right? Bila kita lihat saja all over the world, mereka tahu itu adalah Japanese designer. Mereka tak cakap dia daripada India ke, Indian designer, dia originated from there, betul tak? Because mereka tahu dia punya identity dia kuat, dia punya paksi dia tu kuat, dia punya warisan tradisi tu kita tahu. I think that's the beauty of it, because I really think that because mereka tahu about the content, the philosophy behind the warisan tradisi dan sebagainya. So bila dia interpret even something that yang contemporary, avant-garde dan sebagainya, mereka tahu, you know, dia nampaklah dia punya asal usul tu. Begitu juga yang penting saya rasa kan, macam keunikan fashion itu sendiri. Contohnya kalau kita pergi ke seluruh negara kan, globally, kita tak tahu kadang-kadang adakah kita ingat bendera itu macam mana. Tapi kalau dia pakai macam kimono, kita tahu itu paling senang lah, Japanese. Kalau yang pada Afrika macam ni look dia, kita tahu. Kan kita tak perlu tanya pun dia pada mana dan sebagainya. Kalau macam African lagilah banyak kan dia punya ethnicity dan sebagainya kan. I think that's the beauty of it, because fashion tu dia perlembangan dan simbol sesuatu budaya, sesuatu ethnicity, dan yang paling penting adalah dia adalah cerminan siapa diri kita. Itu yang bagi saya sekarang yang saya rasa yang kita harus mulakan conversation tu adalah, adakah kita di Malaysia ini apabila kita terlalu eager untuk kelihatan hip, cool dalam menterjemahkan karya masing-masing, sampai kita lost kan, kita hilang identiti itu. Itu yang saya rasa kebanyakan golongan millennial yang lost, because kadang-kadang dia ambil tidak peduli kan, because kita kan sekarang macam ada millennial kan digital ini online dan sebagainya kan. Contohnya kadang-kadang bila mereka buat research pun kadang-kadang terlalu surface, dia tak cukup substance kan, dia kurang kan, dia terlalu bersifat permukaan yang macam superficial kan, dia tak tahu pun why. Saya selalu cakap dengan student saya macam kalau kamu buat research, cuba you kaji kenapa mereka buat tu, kenapa ini terjadi, because contohnya apa yang berlaku sekarang dia menjawab persoalan masa depan. Tetapi kita kadang-kadang cakap, buat apa tak ke kita perlu melihat ke hadapan untuk evolve kan. Tapi you got to know what happened before, because whatever happened before, dia inform apa yang sekarang dan masa akan datang. Faham tak saya cuba sampaikan? So whatever it is, kita kena tahu history, kita kena tahu apa yang telah berlaku dan sebagainya, baru kita boleh evolve. Okey, itu sedikit, bukan sedikit pun banyak pun ya. Okey, harap tak mengelirukan. Okey, so sekarang saya rasa saya beri mic ni pada Puan Zubaidah. Mungkin Puan Zubaidah boleh berkongsi sedikit tentang latar belakang Puan Zubaidah.
Terima kasih Cik Faizal. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Terima kasihlah Cik Faizal sebab sebenarnya berbincang mengenai identiti ni, inilah satu topik yang sedang hangat kami bagi pihak Jabatan Warisan Negara yang tengah membincangkan untuk mencari satu identiti. Okay, baiklah, saya kenalkan diri saya Hajar Zubaidah Sual. Saya berkhidmat 25 tahun di Jabatan Muzium Malaysia. Seperti kata Cik Faizal, dah 4 dekad saya berkhidmat dan saya meneruskan karier di Kementerian Kebudayaan sebagai pegawai kebudayaan dan mengakhirkan jawatan saya di Istana Budaya sebagai penolong pengarah di bahagian produksi Istana Budaya. Jadi saya tak pernah study fashion, tapi pengalaman saya sebagai custodian di Museum Negara selama 25 tahun membuatkan saya beranggapan semua yang tradisional itu adalah fashion, yang dia berterusan sehingga sekarang. Tapi sayangnya kan, bila bercakap tentang tradisional, tentang klasik, semua macam designer sekarang macam tak nampak. Dia ada di situ, paksinya ada di situ. Okey, cukup Cik Faizal ke nak sambung terus? Okey, baiklah. Sebenarnya bila kita cakap pasal fashion, sekarang ni saya sedang bersama dengan Museum Pahang di Museum Pekan sedang menyediakan satu galeri Fashioning a Fashion Adi Busana. Maknanya daripada zaman kegemilangan Melaka, the classical of the traditional costume tu, sehingga yang akan kita libatkan semua yang designers dalam satu competition, the futuristic costume, tapi berteraskan, berlandaskan atau berpaksikan pakaian tradisional. Sebenarnya bila kita study pasal fashion ni, dia banyak sangat idea yang you all boleh gunakan, sebab kita bermula dari zaman kegemilangan Melayu Melaka. Masa tu pun memang saya lah sebagai budayawan kan, memang saya study pada saya itulah bermulanya fashion Maknanya bagaimana diceritakan tentang pakaian raja-raja Melayu ketika itu. Maknanya kita boleh visualkan. Dan sekarang ni saya sedang cari artis. Bila saya bercerita tentang daripada teks sastra kita kebanyakan kita gunakan daripada teks sastra, macam mana diceritakan pasal keindahan pakaian Sultan Melaka, pakaian Tun Tija lah katakan, pakaian Permaisuri Melaka. Dia describekan, you all boleh pick up idea tu, bagaimana yang kita boleh terjemahkannya, kita boleh visualkan, dan mungkin itulah antara gaya fashion yang kita boleh bawa hingga sekarang ni. Maknanya boleh kita, macam kita kata, kita ubah suai, macam ni jadikan trend sekarang.
Interpretasi baru,
banyak sangat. Kalau saya nak, you all kena, seperti kata Cik Fazal tadi lah kan, untuk menjadi seorang perekat fashion yang lengkap, memang kita tak boleh tinggalkan sejarah. You kena belajar, kena baca. Maknanya untuk cari satu identiti pada perekat fashion yang mungkin dominan kan. Cari, maknanya kita kena baca sejarah, kena baca teks-teks sastra ni. Memang cantik bahasa dia akan describekan macam mana pakaian dia dengan kelengkapan aksesorisnya, bagaimana embellishment, ending kostum tu macam mana. Dan itu mungkin boleh dijadikan sebagai konsep, konsep untuk trend fashion sekarang inilah. Itu pandangan saya. Sebab bila kita study tentang fashion ni, dia tentang sejarah maksud saya dia bermula dari zaman kegemilangan Melaka. Itu memang walaupun kita kena visualkan macam mana pakaian ketika itu kemewahan, especially material yang digunakan, fabric yang digunakan, dibawa masuk daripada India, dibawa masuk daripada Timur Tengah, dibawa masuk daripada China, semua dia describe, ada ceritanya di situ. Bagaimana motifnya, embellishmentnya macam mana, semua ada. Lepas tu dia pergi kepada zaman pemerintahan. Zaman pemerintahan tu pun satu zaman yang cantik untuk kita elaboratekan bagaimana keadaan pakaiannya. Ketika itu kita ada Portugis, kita ada Inggeris, kita ada Belanda. Ketika itu pun, kalau itu kita pergi kepada teks sejarah. Dalam teks sejarah ni, kalau you baca buku-buku sejarah yang sejarah yang kita katakan sejarah fakta, daripada buku Tan Sri Shepherd ke buku Yuan, cari buku-buku lama, dia akan ceritakan macam mana keindahan pakaian zaman pemerintahan, macam mana raja-raja Melayu pakai. And then evidence fotografi dah banyak dah waktu itu. Dah ada gambar-gambar macam mana pembesar-pembesar Melayu berpakaian, isteri-isteri pembesar Melayu berpakaian, semua dah ada materialnya apa. And then kita pergi ke arah zaman kemerdekaan lah. Itu pun dah satu segmen, maknanya kita boleh nampak tiga zaman yang berbeza, yang mungkin tuan-tuan boleh jadikan itu sebagai cetusan idea ataupun kehangatan lah untuk membangkitkan fashion yang berlandaskan sejarah.
Terima kasih Puan. Saya serahkan pula mic pada my friend Calvin.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, basically, a little bit myself. Okay, so I've been doing this for 25 years. Before I set up Calvin 2, the label, I've been working for people for 10 years because I wanted to get experience. And I'm actually very lucky to be able to gone through a lot of facets of fashion. Okay, my very last job that actually gave me a lot of experience and also confidence to set up my shop was when I was working for the wholesale company, okay, in Kenanga. Because why is it so? Because I was the designer, I was the buyer, and we had to supply to the hypermarkets. We have to supply to all of the mainstream, what we call the normal group of people. And from there, because we had to produce and buy out of China, and that is when I studied a lot about the wants of what us ordinary people will wear. Yeah. So basically, touching on today's topic, okay, it's all about fashion identity. Okay, without any bias, okay, we have just actually recently passed the Fashion Week, yeah. And one thing that actually crossed my mind, and I actually had a word with Faisal the other day, was, you know, where is the identity of our local Malaysian designers? Yeah, because, you know, most collections that I have personally seen is basically a rehash, or should I say, inspired by the international designers, but we don't seem to find a local sort of influence. Okay, now, for instance, let's talk about batik, for instance. Okay, batiks, as we all know, is actually a so-called Malaysian fabric, but it's actually batik. What makes batik is the chanting, the skills of applying the art onto the fabric. Okay, now it seems that Malaysian as on a whole, and I had a conversation with a few other people as well, that it seems that the moment we talk about batik, you know, a lot of young people nowadays, they will think that batik is old-fashioned, yeah, and then therefore, but I can tell you now, and you know, it's about time for I see a lot of fashion educators, you have got a press, you've got everything. I think it's about time for us to try to put our hands together to bring the message out that, you know, batik nowadays is no longer old-fashioned because the way it's actually chanting, you know, the chop and stuff like that, the designs can be quite modern. And in fact, if you actually go back to the archives of international designers, you know, you will find batik being used by Cavalli, you will be find batik being used by Versace and all that sort of people. Now, you see, I think Malaysians in general has got this mentality that, you know, the grass is greener on the other side. In other words, if you don't see on the international fashion scene, which means it's old-fashioned, you know. And also this morning, currently, okay, I had the pleasure of servicing a client, all right? I won't mention names, but this family is actually responsible, one of the signatories on our Merdeka Pact. So in other words, when Tun Abdul Rahman, when at the time of Merdeka, one of the signatories belongs to the head of this family. Now, I was very lucky that I was given, you know, songkit. The songkit quality those days and today is totally different one, yeah? So I had the privilege, you know, even Khalid, who used to practical with me, we had the privilege of, you know, using a lot of traditional fabrics, the real thing, yeah? And the feel is so different, and I get excited when I get all these sort of things, because, not because it's a trust, but it's also, I get to be able to rehash, you know, my interpretation of how a kebaya is by just changing a bit of cut without taking away the essence of our culture. And at the moment, I'm also trying to rescue a whole range of tekat. The tekat was actually done 65 years ago. Auntie just told me today. It was actually done she used it for her wedding 65 years ago. You see, now, I think the only person that I know of who's now currently applying tekat to his collection, which was shown during KL Fashion Week, was, what's our friend's name? No, there's one person, Carl, what's his Carl's label? Yeah, Neonet, yeah. He has actually boarded, okay. Carl is actually, to my knowledge, he's not a fashion designer, all right? He's a celebrity, but he is interested in fashion. But how I see it is that I respect him one point. The last collection, he was using tenun, okay? He actually boarded, okay, to make an effort to go and get in touch with all those people in Pekan, okay, and research and use tenun for his collection last year. This year pula dia buat tenun. You see, he has actually gone through the stages of what Puan has just said that, and Faizal has actually we discussed about bordering to do research on this sort of essence and imply into a collection, which is, I personally think that it should be, commended. Sebab if we don't preserve our culture, who is going to preserve our culture? And I mean, to me, is that Malaysian fabrics or Malaysian fashion or Malaysian handicrafts, I should say, yeah, that we can use a lot of things of our handicrafts things and put into our own costumes. Why not? You see, I came back from RMIT, okay, I was in Australia for 10 years in Melbourne. That was many years ago. I did not know how to do baju kurung. I did not even know at that time, why must we wear a dress and a skirt? No one actually taught me how to do baju kurung, but I was learning myself by looking at people, okay, initially, how they wore their baju kurung, and that's how I came up with my version of baju kurung, which is, to me till today, is still a skirt and a dress, yeah? But going into culture, so I was also one of the first non-Malay designers who was actually part of IFF, Islamic Fashion. Yeah. Now, why I want to touch on that was because if anyone's actually followed my journey in IFF since the very first time, at that time I did not actually understood what Islam is all about. All we thought was that as long as you have a satu lapik kain, therefore it's Islamic. And I actually quite malu sekarang sebab dulu my earlier collections was just see-through lace, and I deemed that as Islamic. But as I got to learn and and observe, and when we learn about Islam, all right, and then we got to understand. Now, one more thing very quickly is that in reference back to our fashion week, you see, how I see is that we don't have the identity because it's basically a rehash of international designers, which I think is actually a bit sad, yeah. So Faizal, if you have any questions.
The thing is, don't get us wrong. The thing is, we love what they're doing. It's just the thing is, it doesn't project it, like kita punya own true identity. That's it. As you mentioned, right? It's just an interpretation of trends. But I really think that if you put it like outside globally, pergi mana-mana, kalau orang cakap pada this country or that country.
What I'm trying to say is that kalau you go to see, let's say, Komdi Gasong, dia punya identity apa? Dia punya Komdi Gasong is very simple, but this silhouette is actually, his way of Ray Kawabuko. Dia punya concept is like her interpretation of how a women figure should be, just like dulu kita the artist, yeah, who suka lukis perempuan gemuk-gemuk tu, again Rubens. No, there's an European artist who likes to paint fat women. To him, fat woman is the ideal body. Yeah. And also let's say siapa lagi yang buat Issey Miyake, for instance. When you mention Issey Miyake, it's mesti pleats. Okay. When you mention Cavalli, okay, mesti prints. Betul tak? So when you mention Kelvin tu apa? No, Kelvin tu kami at the moment lah. People say if you mention Kelvin tu mesti manik. So, so you know we are trying to. What I'm trying to say here is that we all need identity of ourselves. You know, because if you don't lead the group, lead the crowd will forever not follow you. Because as fashion designers, I think that we all should be leaders. Betul tak, Faizal? That's what that's our job is.
I mean, if you call yourself a designer, you should be trendsetters. You know, bukan trend follower. Kalau you trend follower, just random lah, you know. It's just a brand. It's just like a random brand. You do like interpretation macam Zara lah. They interpret like trends, you know, the fashion shows, whatever, and then dia lagi cepat dia boleh keluar.
Yeah,
kan,
betul.
Zara.
But Zara is a retail branding. Yeah, I have to make a point here. Sebab I pernah buat for wholesale kan. Kita pernah jual kat Tesco, kat the hypermarkets lah. Okay, baju tu RM70 apa. But at that time kan, when I actually handle it in Kenanga, no one actually know how to do Malay costumes. So in fact, I have to dare say, like, at that time I was the first one in the whole of Kenanga who actually did the Malay Revolution. Yeah. So what we do is that when you set up a retail label, you mesti buat apa yang your customer nak, bukan apa yang you nak. But the trick is that how to make your label different, in my opinion, is that you have to inject a little bit of your identity. Because we all have our own identity, we all have our own ideals. Okay? Tadi Faizal dah cakap dah, fashion is something that yang menunjukkan kita sebenarnya kita siapa. And I will go one step further, is that let's say kalau kita pergi majlis orang, majlis kahwin, for instance, dia ada tema, you know, formal. Takkan you wear casual to go to a thing, because that also fashion, what you wear is also something that you nak pay respects to your host. It's not only that, you know, you want kita to respect kita nak respect orang juga. Betul tak, Puan?